Chris Godinez, licensed professional counselor, also the host of We Talk on every Sunday at noon, 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 p.m. Eastern. Of course, that's all going to change when the time changes, but Arizona stays the same. So it's always 12 o'clock Arizona time. This video is for educational and informational purposes only. The views and opinions stated herein are mine and mine alone. They do not represent the ACA, the APA, or any other therapist for that matter. And I am proud to be sponsored by BetterHelp, BetterHelp. Hey, Ashley. BetterHelp.com. BetterHelp.com/Chris Godinez. They are my sponsor. They are an internet online counseling service, which is phenomenal because I cannot tell you the number of times I get people contacting me going, I'm in such and such a state. Who can you recommend? Well, I don't know other people in other states, but everybody on BetterHelp with a P.com/Chris Godinez is a licensed professional counselor. They are master level or above. So they're either master level or PhD. So they're licensed in their state. And the thing I love about it is if you're in a rural area and you don't like the counselors around you and you don't want to drive 3 hours to the nearest city, you can just hop online, fill out a questionnaire. They will place you with a counselor. If you don't like the counselor, you just go on and say, no, want a different counselor. And they'll get you with a different counselor. And it is completely affordable. So I think it worked out to like $65 for four sessions per session. So $65 per session for 4 sessions. So that's not bad. If you are outside of the United States and UK, I am looking at you and you're, in line to get services and they're making you wait. Don't get me started. Like 6, 8, a year, months, then you can just hop on to betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. Fill out the questionnaire. They will put you with somebody here in the US. So, of course, there's a time distance difference. You guys are going to have to figure that out. But at least you can get help when you need it, which is why I like this service. So, all right. So, betterhelp.com/Chris Godinez. And John will be putting that down in the description. All right, kiddos. Hello, everyone. So let's dive into today's, no, wait a minute. I have more announcements. Sorry about that. Got ahead of myself. All right. If you're going through a divorce, Splitting by Bill Eddy and Randy Krieger. Must read. Will help you. Talks about everything I talk about on here. Basically, I love these two. So anyway, this is a great book. Also, Susanna Quintana, SusannaQuintana.com. You can get You're Still That Girl. She's amazing. I love her. She's a great person. I love her writing. She's awesome. And then Shahida Arabi. I recommend this book to all my clients. So this is the Highly Sensitive Person's Guide to Dealing with Toxic People by Shahida Arabi. She's amazing. Love her. Love, love, love. And of course, my books are available online at chrisgodinez.com. I will autograph them for you. I will put in a little saying in there for you. And also my cups are still sitting in my hallway. So if you'd like a cup, please order it. The shipping is included. So wherever in the world you are, I will ship it to you. I don't care how much it costs because I want them out of my hallway. So these cups are available on chrisgodinez.com. Okay, I think that's all the announcements. All right, so today's topic is reframing. Now, I want to make a very clear distinction between reframing and toxic positivity because that has been something that has come up. So toxic positivity is denial, basically. Toxic positivity is where somebody goes, this is fine. No, this is fine. Everything's fine. I don't know if you've ever seen the little meme with the dog sitting at the table drinking a cup of coffee with a little hat on. Meanwhile, there's like flames all around him and he's like, this is fine. That's toxic positivity. So reframing is different from toxic positivity. So basically what you do is, and realize, well, this is kind of complicated, isn't it? Okay, well, let's back up a little bit. Our abusers are not interested in emotions or the truth. And so they teach us very quickly, whether it is a family of origin issue or whether it is a romantic partner or boss or friend or whatever, they very quickly make us not speak the truth. So when somebody, and I know I was guilty of this earlier on in my life, when somebody would say, well, how are you doing? I'd be like, oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. It's fine. Everything's fine. Meanwhile, again, like the little dog sitting there drinking the cup of coffee, everything's on fire all the way around, So we do that because it's not okay for us to speak our truth. I mean, think about it. If we really were honest and somebody said, how are things going? And we're like, well, most people would be like, okay, backing up out of the room now. But here's the thing. I think society needs to get over itself. I think we need to speak the truth, And so now if things are not, fine, whatever, I will say, could be better. Things are a little wonky right now. The pandemic fatigue, and boy, howdy, the next words I want to hear is, this is your captain speaking, I mean, so you speak the truth. You don't overshare, but you don't minimize what you're going through either. So fine. Let's break apart the word fine in counselor speak. When somebody sits on my couch and says, oh no, I'm fine, and they've got that, shocked look on their face, I go, whoa, 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 whoa. Are you a counselor's fine? Or are you really okay? And then of course they'll go, well, what's a counselor's fine? So the word fine in counseling stands for effed up, insecure, neurotic, and emotional. So are you that, or are you really okay? And that usually opens the dialogue to talking about what's really going on. So when somebody's like, oh no, I'm fine. Oh, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. And that's ding. That's a clue for me. Things are not fine. Things are in fact anything but fine. So it's really important to be aware of how you speak. What you say. Are you speaking your truth, or are you trying to, again, caretake other people so that they don't worry about you? Hello, codependency. Oh, no, I'm fine. Everything's good. I'm fine. I'm fine, when things are not. That's another way of denying ourselves. That's another way of not speaking the truth. That's another way of trying to caretake other people. Like, we're afraid of their reactions. They're going to have whatever reaction they're going to have. I mean, there are some times in my life where I have been like, oh, no, everything is not fine. Everything is far from fine. There's nothing you can do to help, but thank you for asking. Simple, truthful, to the point. Okay. If they're going to have whatever reaction they're going to have, if they're the type of person that's going to go, run away, they're not your friend. If they're the type of kind of person that's going to be like, okay, well, if you need anything, let me know. Great, I will. Thanks. Do you see where I'm going with that? So, okay, reframing is not, let's make this very clear, not toxic positivity. So toxic positivity is like, no negative thoughts allowed ever. And it's like, that's not reality. It's not. So there's gonna be negative thoughts. We all have, especially if we were raised by abusers, we all have that inner critic lurking somewhere, that occasionally, even after working on it, will pop up its ugly head and we'll have to be like, oh, hi, well, thank you for your input. Shut the bleep up. I'm not playing. Bye-bye. Bye-bye now. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Do you see where I'm going with that? So the toxic positivity is like, oh, I'm not hearing that thought. I'm not seeing that thought. No, 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 no. So that is akin to denial. That is akin to, oh, pink elephant taking a dump in the corner of the living room. Oh, I don't see the pink elephant. I don't see the pink. I'm not thinking about the pink. I'm not thinking about that. What am I thinking about the whole time? So the toxic positivity is the flip side of denial. I mean, it's denial, but it's wrapped up really pretty bow looking like it's all positive, right? So you got to be careful of that too. And I understand when we come out of, abuse and nastiness and all of that stuff, we've had a belly full of negativity and we're ready for something positive. And that's perfect and that's great and that's normal. However, slipping into denial and not acknowledging what's really going on is not healthy either. So you want to watch out for that toxic positivity. Like, I'm never going to be negative. I'm never going to have all these, never. So that's all or nothing thinking. That's the splitting. And we learn that from our abusers because they are split. They do the splitting. They do the all, nothing, good, bad, black, white, and they especially hate emotions. And so they've trained us very much so. Everything has to be perfect. Everything has to be fine. Everything has to be this. Everything has to be that. So let's slip into the reframing now. Now that we've discovered what toxic positivity is, which is basically a form of denial. What is reframing? So reframing is changing the way you think and talk to yourself. So for example, the way my family was, it was batshit crazy. And my dad would inevitably ruin every good gathering, dinners, birthdays, anniversaries, parties. He would do something to piss somebody off. That's just the nature of narcissists. So in my little childhood mind, in my little inner child mind, which was actually the outer child at that point, I started lowering my expectations. Oh, it's not going to be that good. Oh, it's going to be, oh, it's going to be this. It's going to be that. It's going to be this. It's going to be that. Da, 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 da. So I found myself doing that when I was a young adult, so I was, what is that? Future projecting, mind reading. There we go. I was mind reading and I was like, oh, it's going to be this way. Oh, it's going to be this. So I wouldn't be disappointed. And so that's what we do. So you've got to be very careful about what you tell yourself. So for example, when I have clients that come in, one of the things they do to sabotage themselves is they do the negative self-talk. And they say things like, oh, it's going to be hard. Oh, therapy is going to be difficult. Oh, this exercise is going to be impossible. They literally say that without actually having done the exercise, or without having practiced the mirror work, or without having attempted to do the self-esteem, or without having. So in other words, they're already telling themselves this is going to be hard. And so remember, so let's talk about how our subconscious works and how our amygdala works. So this is all interconnected. It all makes sense eventually. So our amygdala is stupid. 3 O's, stupid. Cannot tell the difference between past, present, future. Thought about something, real event about something. It's all here now, here now, here now, here now. Okay. So we got that going on. Keep this in mind. Okay. So our subconscious listens to what we tell ourselves. So how many times have we woken up in the morning and we know something's going to be occurring that day? So for example, we know we've got a court date with the abuser. We know that there's a custody hearing, or we know that we have to see them, or we have to respond to an email, or we've got some sort of family thing going on that we're going to have to deal with, or whatever. And so if we wake up in the morning and we go, oh, today is going to be an absolutely crappy day. Oh my God. Okay. So now, again, this is where you got to walk the tightrope between toxic positivity and reframing. So what your brain hears and what your amygdala hears is, oh, this is going to be a horrible day. Well, crap, let's prepare for a horrible day. And then the amygdala goes, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, it's going to be a horrible day. It's going to, cortisol, we need cortisol, hippocampus, hypothalamus, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And then dumps everything into our system. And now we're all stressed out. Now we're like, and then of course the day starts going really bad. Why? Because we've told ourselves it's going to be really bad. Now, a healthier way to do that is you wake up and you go, you know what? It is a gorgeous day. I am going to have to deal with the a-hole ex, or I'm going to have to deal with the crazy family, or I'm going to have to deal with whatever. But you know what? I am not holding on to, letting this ruin my day. So I'm not handing my power over to an amygdala. This is not very bright, that doesn't know the difference between past, present, future, real event, thought about a real event, daydreaming about an event, all here and now. You're not going to hand your power over to the abuser. You're not. And it's interesting when I have clients that come and sit on my couch and then they go, or, sit in front of me with the telehealth thing because COVID, and they'll be like, oh, that just ruined my whole day. You had a 10-minute exchange with this person. So you're allowing this 10-minute exchange to dictate the entire day? Are you kidding me? Are you handing your power over to your abuser again? Why are you doing that? And then at that point, they either get really mad at me or they go, doink. Oh, wait a minute. What the? Whoa. Not realizing that that's what they were doing. So you've got to be very careful about what you tell yourself, how you say things to you. If you tell yourself that things are going to be hard, guess what? It's gonna be hard. So, for example, John and I go out hiking, in the cooler weather, which thank God we still have it right now. Eventually it's going to be too hot to hike, but, and we've been trying different trails, and there was one that we were going up, which is Santan Mountain, the gold mine trail. And most of it's okay, but the last little bit is like straight up and down. Well, maybe not. It's probably more like that. And lots of shale, lots of slippery rock, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. If I had psyched myself out and said, oh, it's too steep. Oh, I can't do this. Oh, it's too hard. Da, 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 da. No, I never would have made it up it. But what I did was, I'm going to win this. I'm taking this, and I went on up, Of course, I get to the top and I'm like, but it was great because it was beautiful. The view was gorgeous. And if I had allowed myself to psych myself out, I never would have made it to the top. So you've got to be very careful about how you speak to yourself. And you've got to be also very careful about how you hand over your power to the abuser or to inanimate objects. I've had people sit on my couch and they'll go off on this rant about how this thing didn't work, like a computer or a car or whatever. And I'm like, whoa, is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? Well, yes, I took it to the computer shop or I took it to the, the mechanic. Okay. Is there anything else you can do? No. Okay. Well then let it go. It's done. Why are you allowing this thing to have power over you? Why are you allowing this to ruin your day? Because when things go south, guys, and they're always going to go south, it's life. Things go south. Things don't always turn out the way that you want them to. And so there's a wonderful meme out there that's like, oh, things didn't go the way I wanted. Okay, plot twist. Let's go this direction. That's just the way it happens. So for example, a couple of weeks ago, I was doing my video on the Airbnb internet thing, and it just suddenly boop, went down right in the middle of the show. Is getting mad at everything going to help? No. What was I looking for? My phone, so I could continue on my phone. Fortunately, it came back up. I didn't have to do that. But I certainly wasn't going to, after the show, be going, internet. It would be like, well, that was weird. Great, let's go shopping. You don't allow things to rule you. Okay. So reframing is watching how you say things to yourself and noticing the difference. So with the clients that come in and go, oh, this is hard. This is impossible. This is hard. I go, stop, just stop. Can you hear what you're saying to yourself? Can you hear how you are already predetermining what's going to happen? And your subconscious is going to make sure that that happens. So that's why I say how you say it is how it generally turns out. Now, that's not 100%, but in these specific instances, like when we're working on ourselves, if we're sitting there going, this is hard, this is hard, this is hard, this is impossible, I can't, then your subconscious is going to go, yep, you're right, you can't, give it up, yep, nope, not going to do it, yeah. And these are the ones that don't do the homework. These are the people who don't even try. And then it's funny because I'll ask them, have you tried it? Well, no, because it's too hard. Okay, whoa. How do you know it's too hard if you haven't actually tried it? Tell me more about that. What's going on? What's happening? What's happening in your thought process? Honestly, if we start looking at why we tell ourselves we cannot do things, it's because our abuser, whether it's a parental unit or a romantic partner or a boss or a friend or whatever, has somehow made us wrong for failing. Yeah, so this is the main reason. And so we just tell ourselves, oh, we can't do it. And therefore we stay, quote unquote, safe. Now, that works when you're in the abuse, right? Because remember, we have a whole set of maladaptive behavior that works while we are actually in the abuse that absolutely does not work once we get out of the abuse. And this is part of mindfulness. This is part of consciousness. This is part of, oh, interesting. I didn't realize I was telling myself this. So it's really tuning in and realizing, what are you saying to yourself? Are you being your own internal cheerleader? Are you doing the, I can make this climb. Absolutely, I can make this climb. I've got this. Or are you, it's too hard. I can't do it. It's not worth it. It's too scary. Too scary, too scary, too scary. That's something else that comes up. And this is why they do the, it's too hard, it's too hard, it's too hard, it's too hard. So what is the fear? Why are you sabotaging yourself? Why are you telling yourself you can't do this when you haven't even tried? Right? Like if I had listened to the abusers when I was a kid, I would not be doing what I'm doing now, because they would have told me, no, you're not smart enough. No, you're not this enough. No, you're not that enough. No, you're not blah, 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 blah. Right? So instead, I went to therapy. I started challenging it. I started working on self-esteem. I started working on boundaries. I started putting the abuse back with the abusers. And I started working on the fear. So as I've talked about in the past, oftentimes the fear is not so much of failure, although that is a part of it. Because remember, our abusers love to rub our nose in failure. They make fun of us. They put us down. They make us wrong. Well, how come you didn't know to do that right the first time? How come you did it? You know, you're 4 years old going, I don't know calculus. Back off. You know, I mean, that's what they do because they need to feel superior. And they will do that to the little kids, which I think is disgusting. So there's that fear of failure because we're afraid of the abuser rubbing our nose in it. But another thing is we're terrified of being successful. Hello, we are terrified of being better than them because oftentimes we've either gotten the overt message or the covert message. Don't you dare be better than me. Don't you dare succeed where I fail. Don't you dare, you know, come into your own. Don't you dare have more whatever than I have. Okay, so that's part of what is going on with the self-sabotage. Now, I am going to do my Yoda impersonation. So, in the first 3 Star Wars movies, and I'm not talking the sequels that were made in the 90s, I'm talking about the original ones in the 1970s and 80s. So in one of them, and I can't remember which one, was it Return of the Jedi? No. John will correct me on this. Anyway, so Luke goes to Dagobah, right? And he's there and his speeder goes into the swamp. And so Yoda says, okay, get the land speeder out of there, get the flight thing out of there, right? And Luke tries. So the word try, what does the word try mean? It means I'm not doing it, right? So he tries and he's like, it's too hard. I can't do it. I'm trying. And Yoda just gets fed up with him. And he goes, oh, thank you, Andrea. He gets fed up with him and he finally goes, do or do not. There is no try. And I was just like, that's freaking brilliant, you know, because it's true. You either do it or you don't. There is no try, because if you quote unquote try, you've already determined that you're going to fail. And Luke had already told himself, it's too hard. I can't do it. I can't. So you got to get rid of those words and you've got to replace them with the truth. Is it too hard? No, because Yoda could do it and he's a little itty bitty thing, you know, or can't. No, it's a matter of won't. It's really a matter of won't, you know. No, don't really want to put the effort into it. I won't. And that pisses people off because then it brings responsibility, personal responsibility. Hello. But that is what separates us from the abusers. Think about it. Abusers never take personal responsibility. Ever. They are the ultimate victim. Even if they're overt narcissists, they will sit there and point the finger and blame everybody around them except themselves. So a healthy person, what they do is they take personal responsibility. And I think that's part of what Luke learned in that whole thing. So I love Star Wars. I really do. I have not finished watching The Mandalorian. I really want to do that. Love WandaVision, by the way. Nothing to do with Star Wars, but it is all Disney. So anyway, what am I watching now? The Umbrella Academy. Wow, that's trippy. All right. So, okay. So personal responsibility is really what we are all about. And that is what separates us from the abusers. Because remember, abusers don't take personal responsibility for anything. They're the ultimate victims. So for us, it is, okay, is my inner dialogue hygienically good? Am I speaking well to myself? Am I telling myself the truth, or am I coming up with a bunch of excuses? You know, I mean, because if you don't want to lift the land speeder, okay, just say, I don't want to lift the land speeder, but don't sit there and go, I'm trying, it's too hard, I can't, oh, please. You know what I'm saying? It's like, do or do not, there is no try. And anything else is an excuse, okay? But be honest about it. It's like, you don't want to lift the land speeder, don't lift the land speeder. Pretty simple. So, but we were raised by abusers who you had to have an excuse. You had to have a reason why. You had to explain yourself, remember? So part of the reframing comes from that need to explain, that need to, we can come up with these excuses. You got to kind of have a come to Jesus or a come to Buddha meeting with yourself and be like, am I making excuses? Or is this something I really don't want to do? What's going on? Do you see where I'm going with that? So a reframe is you take the negative and you figure out, it's the Buddhist worry chart. Is there a problem? Yes. Okay. Can I do something about it? Yes. Okay, great. Then do that and stop coming up with excuses. It is what it is. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? No. Okay. Well, if there's nothing that can be done, there's nothing that can be done. You don't need to explain. But remember, abusers demand that we come up with excuses, that we explain, that we blame somebody else, that we, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. So when I have a client that is resistant to the mirror work, it's really important to figure out why. What's going on underneath that? What are the messages? See, this is the thing. When people don't like doing the mirror work, it's hard. I don't want to do it. It's painful. It's da-da-da-da. It's painful. That's usually the reason. So what's going on underneath it? It's not that we don't like what we see. It's that we don't like what we hear, because we say horrible things to ourselves, or the internal critic, who is the abuser, repeats back all of the horrible stuff that's ever been spewed out over us. So that's why the fear of looking in the mirror, okay, what is that bringing up? Right? So there's going to be some journaling done about this. What is going on? Why am I so resistant to looking at myself in the mirror? What am I hearing when I look in the mirror? What am I telling myself when I look in the mirror? So it's exploring what that is all about. Now, oftentimes with the inner child workbook, they'll get through the first paragraph and people are like, oh my God, no, it's too scary, too scary, too scary. Well, okay, yeah, to your inner child, it's going to be scary because you're having to go back through and reprocess in a healthy way whatever was going on at those different ages. So it's really important to be journaling while you're doing all of this and reframe it for the inner child. Listen, little one, I know it's scary. Validate. It is the truth. It is scary. But guess what? We've already survived the worst. We've already been through it. All this is just a memory, and we are going to work through the trauma so that we don't get as triggered. And this is a good thing. And I'm right here and I've got your back. So this is what we need to do. So this is why reframing is important. You're not so much reframing it for the adult you, you're more reframing it for the inner child you that's terrified out of their mind about having to go back through and relive the trauma and reprocess it and move it into a different space because they don't understand that it's not going to be here now, here now, here now. Hello, amygdala. All connected. All connected. So my suggestion would be work on reframing. So when you find yourself saying something negative, like, I can't do this, it's too hard, I'm too afraid. Okay, why? Why are you afraid? Let's process this. Let's get the journal out. Why did this fear pop up? What are you afraid of remembering? What happened when you were a kid? It's going to bring stuff up. You got to feel it to heal it, guys. You got to feel it to heal it. You need to reframe it for the inner child. Hey, this is going to be fun. Hey, this is going to be safe. Hey, this is going to be great. This is going to be whatever. So when I was going up the hiking hill, it was a little intimidating, but I was like, I got this. I got this. I'm good. We're good. We got this. Let's go. It was like, this is going to be great when we get to the top. And it was, because I was rewarded with a beautiful panoramic view of the valley. So, it's reframing and it's talking to that inner child, because 9 times out of 10, it's the inner child that's doing the negative stuff, because that was the maladaptive behavior we learned when we were living in that situation to keep safe that now does not work in the real world or in a non-abusive world. So there is that. Okay, let me make sure I covered everything. So reframing is not toxic positivity. Reframing is not, everything's fine. This is fine. Reframing is, okay, why am I telling myself this is hard or negative? Or, do I really want to be doing this? What's really going on? Is this really hard? And why is it hard? Okay, if it is hard, why is it hard? What is my inner child telling me? What is my inner child afraid of? So Inner Child Workbook by Catherine Taylor, for sure. CPTSD from Surviving to Thriving, Pete Walker. Of course, Glenn Schiraldi, The Self-Esteem Workbook, Harriet Breaker, The Disease to Please, Colin Tipping, who I'm so sad. I didn't realize he had died. One of you guys told me, and I was like, oh no, he died in 2019. He was awesome. So he has a book called Radical Forgiveness, which is really about other people, but then he has Radical Self-Forgiveness, which is about ourselves. And I think that is brilliant, and everyone should be working on that, because we have a real tendency to take on the abuser stuff and go, oh, if only I had done this, and why didn't I leave sooner? And, you know, all of this stuff that we make ourselves wrong with. So Radical Self-Forgiveness by Colin Tipping, Radical Forgiveness by Colin Tipping, which is about others. You want to work on all of that. You want to get in touch with that little inner child. And a lot of clients are afraid of that, because that is where the emotions are. And remember, narcissists do not appreciate emotions. They don't like emotions. They don't want us to have emotions. They don't want us to do emotions. They don't want to see our emotions. So when we come out of that, it is a little intimidating for us to actually get in touch with those emotions and really feel them and really validate that inner child and all those triggers and all that trauma. Yes, you did go through what you did go through. Don't minimize it. And don't make it harder than it needs to either. It's like if you hear yourself going, this is too hard, I can't do it. Who doesn't want me to get healed? Oh, there's a big one. Who doesn't want you to get healed? Who doesn't want you to get better? Who are you trying to get approval from that will like it if you stay stuck? I know, it's bizarre, but it all goes back to the inner child. So that's what is really good for working on reframing. So when you hear yourself saying, like, for example, like, okay, let's say that you have to see your ex, right? You're going into a court situation. I'm going over time again. You go into a court situation, you know you're going to see your ex. Okay, yeah, that is probably going to suck. Let's just call it what it is. That part is going to suck. But I refuse to hand over my power to that person and allow that person to ruin the rest of my day. I'm not going to do it. Or you get an email from the ex, and it's just nasty, nasty. First of all, you're under no obligation to send them an immediate response back. Second of all, you scan it or you have somebody else scan it. That's something that Susanna does that I think is great for her clients, that she's, you know, hey, this is part of the service, send me the emails, I'll plow through it, figure out what you need to respond to, and we'll formulate a response. I think that's brilliant, because what the abuser wants is for us to get triggered. They want the inner child to be upset, and they want us to respond immediately, and they want us to respond to the whole damn thing. What they cannot stand is when we only respond to that one sentence that's about the kids or about the divorce. You refuse to hand over your power. Does it suck that they do this? Yes. Are they doing it on purpose? Abso-freaking-lutely. What is the best revenge? To live well and to not allow them your power. Like, you're out living life, having a great time. They didn't really affect you for more than maybe, I don't know, 5, 10, maybe 15 minutes. Let it go. Yeah, that's the power of working through stuff, getting the triggers handled, not allowing the inner critic to take over and be like, oh, the whole day's ruined. No, it's not. It's ruined while I'm having to read this piece of garbage, but after that, it's all good. See where I'm going with that? You cannot give your power to them. The more you starve them of attention, the more they'll go find another target. And that's really what you want. So, okay. So I hope this helped with reframing. So when you have a negative thought, oh, this is going to be hard. Wait a minute. Have I done this? No, I haven't. I don't know that it's going to be hard. Could be fun. I don't know. Why don't we see where this goes? Seriously, that's reframing. You know, or you wake up, oh, today is going to be a crappy day. Whoa, stop. I'm breathing. I don't have COVID. I'm good. My family is all healthy. I think it's going to be a pretty damn good day. Reframe. Because the subconscious listens to what we say and it makes it happen. Remember the actor I talk about that falls on stage because that's all they focused on. Eventually, your subconscious will create it happening so that you can stop worrying about it. So worry, listen to me now, believe me later, is like a prayer for bad things to happen. Stop it. Stop. You don't need to do that. So, okay. So I hope that helps. Okay. So let's get into the questions. All right. Where am I? There I am. All right. Why do narcissists love to play hot and cold games? Intermittent positive rewards. Remember, I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you, I love you, I love you, I love you, I hate you, I hate you, I hate you. That's the hot and cold. That's the intermittent positive rewards. They're trying to get you addicted. Why do they talk to you a lot one day and then the next week act distant? You didn't do anything wrong, so I don't understand what I did wrong. You didn't do anything wrong. This is their game. This is their game. This is how they keep you hooked like a fish. Seriously. So what they do is they go love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, love bomb, withdraw the love, and now you're left going, whoa, what just happened? This person was paying all this attention to me, and now they're gone. What the heck? What did I do? You did nothing. This is a game. Now that you've recognized it, save yourself, get the hell out. This is not what normal people do. It is not. It is not. And in a healthy relationship, you know, somebody's having a conversation and then stuff starts happening. Hey, I'm really busy. Just want to give you a heads up. I may not be talking too much next week. I'll talk to you as soon as I get a break. You know, it's just common freaking courtesy. But if you'll notice, narcissists do not have manners. Not when they're playing their games. So, yeah, it's part of the intermittent positive rewards. Absolutely. What if others do not want to hear it or think that we're negative when we're just being real? I always worry about this. We cannot control what other people think. We cannot control what other people think. They are going to have whatever reaction they are going to have. A true friend is going to listen to you. They are, you know, and though, if you keep going over the same territory over and over and over again, eventually they're going to be like, we've talked about this. What are you going to do about it? Because you want to keep moving forward. So it's normal to be concerned, but people who are truly your real friends, they will listen and they will guide you. They will help you. They'll offer, you know, good advice. They'll offer, you know, whatever. But you cannot assume responsibility for what they are thinking and feeling. It's up to them to say, hey, I'm tired of talking about this. You know, seriously, everybody's responsible for their own emotions. So you can also ask them, hey, are you tired of hearing me bitch about this? That's another way to approach it. So if they don't want to hear what you think or think that you're negative, you might want to get curious about it. So why? What's going on? What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And if this person is a flying monkey or if they're disordered themselves, they're just going to not want you to express yourself at all. So be careful. All right. So there's that. Hold on. I got a drink. Okay. Why is it, even on my good days, I somehow sabotage myself and end up having a bad day in the end? Is this a BPD thing or is this just an unintentional thing? It is a self-esteem issue. It is a self-esteem issue and it is a survivor of abuse issue. So oftentimes, and I think I talked about it in this book about my dad who was disordered. He would ruin things, right? And so I would find myself sabotaging myself, you know, either by going, oh, it's going to be terrible, it's going to be this, it's going to be that, and then it turned out fine. And then I was happy and relieved. Or something good was going on and I sabotaged it in some way, shape, or form. And that was the inner child trying to get dad's approval. So it's a self-esteem thing. When you start working on your self-esteem, when you get your self-esteem rock solid and you've got your boundaries up, right? Your list of deal breakers, no lying, no cheating, no gaslighting, no rewriting history, no calling names, no playing games, no intermittent positive rewards, you know, none of that. These are all deal breakers. And you get your self-esteem back where it needs to be, you're going to stop sabotaging yourself, because people who truly, 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 truly love themselves do not sabotage themselves. So you're going to want to start writing it out, journaling it. What's going on? What's happening? Why are you sabotaging yourself? Who are you trying to please? You know, are you trying, you know, and a lot of times people that come from religious backgrounds find that they do that with the abuse as well. Because, you know, they've got this connection of, I can't feel good. I won't get into heaven if I'm happy. You know, that's what a lot of communal narcissist religious abusers do, is the whole, you have to suffer to get into heaven and you can't have joy and you can't be happy and blah, 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 blah. So where is this coming from? Where is this coming from? What is this idea that you cannot have a good day? What is this about? It's all self-esteem. It's all self-esteem, and it all goes back to training, learned behavior. Where did we learn this from? Who taught us that we could not have a good day and that we had to sabotage? Again, self-esteem. People who love themselves do not self-esteem. We just don't have time for it because we got things to do. So work on that. Get with a good trauma therapist and figure out, where did this come from? Journal it out. Write it out. Ask yourself questions. Why am I doing this? How long have I been doing this? When did I first start noticing this? Who in my family did this? Why am I perpetuating this? What's going on? So get all the books I recommend. Start working it through. Hi, Chris. What is your daily routine? Just curious. Okay, well, I set a schedule. So remember how I keep talking about the most successful clients are on a schedule. So John and I get up every day at 6 o'clock, except on Sunday. Today we slept in. We get up at 6 o'clock. We fix breakfast. We take the dog for a walk. We start our day. And we, work until 6 o'clock at night. And then right now we're working on Harry Potter. So we just started the Harry Potter series. We just finished the Lord of the Rings series. So now we're going through the Harry Potter series. So, we've read them before, but it's kind of fun to revisit them. So especially, COVID, not like we have a social life or anything. Anyway, so and I talk to my family and friends on the weekends. So we do Zoom and we do WhatsApp and, things like that. So that's pretty much my routine. So yeah. I don't know if that answers your question, but I'm consistent. And when I get off my routine, so for example, I was doing an interview with Andy Brenitz, who's my marketing guy, and he's doing a podcast, and we were supposed to meet at like 12:30, and I completely forgot. Why? Because I had taken the day off, and I had set my phones in the other room, and my brain just went, flip, nothing going on today. Dur, dur, dur. And then I got a hold of Andy like 15 minutes late, and I'm like, I'm so sorry. I'm off my routine. That's why I forgot. And he's like, don't worry about it. And so then we did it. So that's why routines are important, is that it gets you into a rhythm and you keep doing things, and then at night we take time to either read, the Harry Potter books or Lord of the Rings, or sometimes work on self-esteem, sometimes work on boundaries, sometimes, reading other books, and psychological books. For me, for John, he reads science fiction. So yeah, so a routine is really helpful. A schedule is really helpful. It keeps you on track and it keeps you going. Or I'll spend the free time figuring out what shows I'm going to be doing, what people have requested, things like that. So anyway, yeah, so that's pretty much my daily routine. It's like get up at 6 o'clock, walk the dog, have breakfast, or, well, okay, depends on whether it's too hot or not. So if it's too hot, we walk the dog first. If it's not too hot, we have breakfast first. So, that kind of thing. But it's consistent. It's consistent. Even on Saturdays, we get up early and then we go hiking. So yeah. So anyway, so there's that. Chris, these days I'm constantly plagued by the fear of time running out and I'm growing old, which does not allow me to enjoy what I'm doing. How do I get over this? You have got to give the middle finger to those thoughts. Seriously. We do not know how much time we have. And it's a load of crap that, oh, time's running out and, oh, I'm too old. Guys, I'm 56, okay? I started this whole journey back in my 30s, when I first, got the counseling and did all of that. But then when I was in my late 30s, I went to my master's program and got my degree. And then in my mid 40s, I wrote my first book. And then, there's no such thing as too old. That's a load of crap. That's a societal thing. That's an abuser thing. Oh boy, howdy. Yeah, that's an abuser thing. Oh, you're too old. You're too this. You're too that. You can go blow yourself. Go pan sand. Seriously. So, there's no such thing as that. So you're going to have to tell that thought, wow, fascinating. Where did this come from? Who taught you that time is running out and you're too old? I'll tell you what, I'm grabbing life by both hands and I'm going to ride that bull until the final whistle because, boy, there are things I want to do and I don't care how old I am. I love to travel. As soon as this frickin' pandemic is over, the next words, like I said, I want to hear is, this is your captain speaking. I want to travel again. I want to go back and tour. I want to see all the people I missed during this damn pandemic. And I am not going to allow some stupid random thought that an abuser gave to me stop me from living. The best way to give the middle finger to the abusers is you tell the time's running out and I'm growing old. Okay, in your opinion, who the hell are you? Thanks for playing. Bye-bye. Not going to play. I'm going to go do what I want. And then you go do it. Now, granted, there are probably things that will, for example, the extremely dysfunctional entertainment industry, if you wanted to be a model, yeah, probably by the time you're like 14, you're too old, which is ridiculous. It's ridiculous. It is ridiculous. So, but you've got to set your sights realistically, and you've got to not allow those thoughts to stop you. If I had allowed any of those things that my dad told me that were all bullshit, by the way, I wouldn't be doing what I'm doing now. So you've just kind of got to go pound sand. Thank you. Not playing, not interested. I am going to go do what I want to do. If I'm successful, great. If I'm not successful, I've learned something. Fabulous. Really, that's it. So yeah, you're going to have to work on that. And where did that come from? Who taught you? Who taught you? That's a learned behavior. Who taught you that? Who gave you that message that time's running out and you're too old? Because really, we're not mind readers. We could get COVID. We could get hit by a bus. We could get hit by a meteor. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, in the time allotted, I'm going to do what I can and have as much fun as I can and meet as many people as I can, and I'm going to go do me. And the abuser can just pound sand. Yep. So there's that. All right. So you get over it by deciding, I'm not, this is just a thought. This is a restrictive thought. Who is this from? Who gave me this restrictive thought? Who wants me to not go live my fullest life? Who wants to stop me? And then you give them the middle finger and you keep going and you do you. Abso-freaking-lutely. Okay, there we go. Ooh, whoa, hello. When the therapist demands that we do emotional bypass and toxic positivity, you fire them. You fire them. Fire, 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 fire them. Absolutely. No, you don't go back again in hopes that they change. If they don't want us to do inner child work because they are disgusted, I'm sorry. The therapy is not about them. It's about you. So if inner child work is going to help you, then they'll help you do the inner child work. Absolutely. So, yeah, fire them. Find a therapist that is trauma informed, that is not a humanist, that goes, poor abuser, we don't want to label them. Oh, screw that noise. So yeah, you fire them. Therapists are supposed to meet the client where they are. If the client comes in and says, hey, I'm ready for inner child work, great, let's do it. I'll go get the book, let's do it. Or for example, I had a client one time that was having an existential crisis. So I grabbed Viktor Frankl, Man's Search for Meaning, and I read that, and we had existential sessions, working on, well, what is the meaning in life for you, and where are you at, and what would give you meaning? And do you see where I'm going with that? You meet the client where they are. So bad therapists do not. So yeah, go find a therapist that is trauma informed and is willing to work on inner child work. So there we go. How to balance not handing over your power to another person and feeling your feelings. For instance, getting triggered by reference to the narc in your, oh dear, I don't understand that question. Okay, triggered a reference to the narc in your life do first? What? I don't understand it. I'm sorry. Let me see if I can, okay, let me see if I can figure this one out. How to balance not handing over your power to another person and feeling your feelings. Okay. You are going to get triggered. It just simply is. But you do not allow that trigger to ruin your entire day. Does that make sense? So in other words, you're going to feel what you're feeling. You're going to be triggered, but you're not going to go, okay, I got triggered. I am now going to allow the entire day to be consumed by rumination and by living in that trigger. Does that make sense? So you feel your feelings, but you don't unpack your bags there. I think that's a good way to put it. So you kind of go, oh, okay, I got triggered. Wow, I'm angry, I'm sad, I'm hurt, I'm feeling disrespected or whatever. I'm going to allow myself the next 15 minutes to feel that way, and then I am letting it go. Because if you don't, then you're handing your power over to the other person. So it's balance. It's balance. It's balance. It's balance. So for example, we're going to feel angry. Things are going to happen that make us feel angry. But what we have to do as personally responsible people is go, okay, I'm feeling anger. Where did I get hurt? Because remember, anger is the bodyguard of the softer emotions. So what's driving the anger? What's underneath the anger? So you take responsibility for your own feelings. You take responsibility for your own stuff. But you don't hand your power over and go, okay, well, now I'm going to stay in this for the entire day. You give yourself 15, 20 minutes and then you let it go. Or you do whatever you need to. Is there a problem? Yes. Can you do something about it? Great. Then do something about it and then let it go. You know, if there's nothing you can do about it, you just acknowledge it. Yep, I feel angry. They are just complete and total douchebags. All right, fine. That's who they are. That's not who I am. I'm letting it go. And then you let it go. And you move on with your day. And you do not allow that rumination, which is part of the internal critic. It keeps us stuck in the past to continue to go. No, thank you. I hear you. I see you. There's nothing I can do to change this person. I am turning them over to God or the universe or Buddha or whatever. So there you go. That's what you do. Okay. I am planning to move to another country where I have relatives who all believe that I'm a bad seed because of a smear campaign. Should I reach out to them to make my move smoother? Ooh, good Lord. Well, if they all believe that you're a bad seed because of a smear campaign, I wouldn't. I mean, I wouldn't. I would just be like, okay, they're here, but, you know, I mean, you could, if you wanted to, once you got over there, you could take them out, coffee, you know, just kind of feel it out. But if they really, truly believe that you're a bad seed because of a smear campaign, your true friends and your true family will never believe a smear campaign. They will come to you to verify what's going on. So in other words, narcissists do triangulation of communication, which oddly enough is going to be the topic for next week's show. Triangulation, the drama triangle, and the triangulation of communication. So if they are, you know, believing this smear campaign and not checking it out with you, that's triangulation of communication. That says drama triangle to me. So I would be very cautious about reaching out to them because your true family, your true friends are not going to believe the worst of you. Let me say that again. Your true family and your true friends are not going to believe the worst of you. And when somebody tries to do a triangulation with me, great, let's get them on the phone. Oh, you should watch them backpedal. You know, because they don't want to get caught in their lie, basically. So I would be very careful about reaching out to family and friends that believe the worst of you. People who are on your side do not believe the worst of you. So there it is. How do you handle a narcissist who has completely alienated one child and is working on the other? Well, hopefully you will have had in your divorce decree that the kids get therapy and that you get to pick the therapist, or at the very least, you get to be in on the decision of picking the therapist. You want to pick a family therapist that is trauma-informed, that is understanding of high conflict divorces, and, you know, that is willing to help the child find a place, a safe place to talk. Now, unfortunately, what I have seen happen in some recent cases is that the narcissist picks the therapist and then insists on being in on the sessions. So the child has absolutely no safe place to have their own voice. So you want a therapist for the child, and then you want a family therapist, you know, so that you could try to repair the relationship with the kid. Now, the abuser is going to fight you on that tooth and nail, but they can't really fight you if you have it in your divorce decree about the kids getting their own therapy. And you want a therapist who does know and who does understand high conflict divorces and parental alienation and is onto the abuser, which really any good therapist that talks with the family for more than 10 minutes probably can figure it out. Bad ones do not. So yeah, you want to get them therapy, and you want to get therapy for yourself, because this is horrifically hard on the parent that is being alienated. Now, a good YouTube station for that is Dad Surviving Divorce. That's with Dwayne Robert. Love him. I don't know that he's doing new episodes yet, because we just talked, I think it was 2 weeks ago. Was it 2 weeks ago? 3 weeks ago. It's been a while. And his job had changed up and he couldn't do the show regularly like he was. So he was trying to figure out when he could do the show. But he talks about the parental alienation and what to do. So he would be a wonderful resource for you. So do go check out his stuff. It's called DSD, Dad Surviving Divorce. So yeah. So counseling with a trauma-informed therapist that understands high conflict divorce. Absolutely. How do I explain being an empath to a layperson? So really, all of us except for narcissists are empaths. We feel. We feel. So, for example, somebody who is highly sensitive, right? Where's the highly sensitive guide? Ooh, love this book. Love Shahida. Is it upside down? No, it's right side up. Okay. So love Shahida. She's amazing. So somebody who is highly sensitive, who's an empath, who's a normal human being, in my personal opinion, we feel deeply. We can put ourselves in other people's shoes, which is why I have to really limit reading the news in the morning, because if I start reading the news and there's something sad on the news, John will come back out and he'll be like, are you okay? And I'll just have tears running down my face because I can put myself in those people's shoes. So it's feeling, and it's being able to walk in another person's shoes and go, how must that feel? You know, that's an empath. That's a normal human being, in my opinion. Narcissists don't do that. They don't feel. They don't love. They can't put themselves into another person's shoes. They can't be like, wow, what must that feel like to have that happen? They just don't do that. It doesn't even cross their mind. Meanwhile, I'm reading a thing on, you know, the animal sanctuary in San Antonio where the primates were freezing to death, and I was sobbing. You know, it's like, oh my God, you know. So yeah, it's feeling. It's just being able to walk in another person's shoes and to feel. That's what an empath is. Really. And I think that's what a normal human being is. I think people who don't feel are the ones that are not playing with a full deck. So yeah, so there's that. I hope that helps. Okay, how are we doing on time? Oh, we're doing good. Okay, I work for an employer who is clearly an abuser, and recently gaslit me when I asked for something I was owed, told me I brought zero value, contract almost done, what to do. Get the hell out. Seriously. You know, you could talk to a business lawyer and see if there's any recourse. I don't know that there is. So if your contract is done or almost done, I would get out as quickly as you could without him or her turning around and suing you. So yeah, you leave. You never stay where you're not valued. Let me say that again. You never stay where you are not valued. Seriously, whether that is a job or a relationship or a family or a friend or whatever, you just do not stay where you are not valued. You leave. So, but make sure that you do it so that your contract doesn't get you into any sort of legal issue. So you want to make sure that there's no repercussions, or maybe you can, you know, hang on until the contract is done and then be done. So yeah, absolutely. Okay, kids, starting to lose my voice because of allergies. All right, so next week we will be discussing the drama triangle and triangulation of communication, which is what these yahoos love to do and why they need always a third wheel. So I've gotten a lot of questions on that. Why are they telling me about their new source? Why did they, you know, post all these pictures, blah, blah, blah. So we're going to talk about the drama triangle, and we're going to talk about triangulation of communication. All right, kids, have a great week. Be good to yourselves. And I will talk to you on next Sunday. Bye.